Unbelievable drama once again. We were sat here 24 hours earlier talking about what happened in Italy, and it was almost, once again, the Italians that ruined the Spanish party. But really, for that Cristiano Ronaldo penalty, how were they so different, Gab? Juve were terrible in the first leg.
I mean, I think it's a combination of things. I think in some ways, maybe not having Dybala available kind of made things simpler because you knew that they were going to go, 4-3-3. Mandzukic's strengths, and you got Douglas Costa's pace on the other side. I think in some ways the pressure was off because the expectations weren't there. And you score early, all of a sudden you start wondering what if, maybe a bit of inspiration from the night before. I think Zidane also got the lineup wrong, certainly in the first half, which is why he changed it around quite boldly, let's not forget, at halftime.
Making two changes, Vasquez, Asensio coming on for Bale and Casemiro.
Yeah, and that's a credit to Zidane. And I think these things coming together, and then Juve is saying, hey, we're Juve. If Roma can do it, certainly we can go out and do it too.
I think we're also not giving the credit to the rest of the Juve players in the sense, not just Mandzukic scoring the goals. You got a chance to see Blaise Matuidi making the penalty area a lot more. Without Dybala in there was space to run in because all the play was coming from wide areas. That created a problem for Varane. Carvalho had to slide over. And as a center forward, which Mandzukic oddly doesn't play as much at Roma, but typically was, you love to jump over the back of an outside back who's a lot shorter than you, where the ball's placed right on top of you. It's just something you treasure when you get that opportunity. Mandzukic took exactly the advantage you think you would.
The big question, I suppose, we were sat here yesterday, and obviously comparisons will be drawn between Roma and Barca. We said Roma completely deserved to go through.
Yeah.
Did Real Madrid?
I think Real Madrid shaded it. I think, the guy we were talking about in the highlight was Buffon, and he'll certainly remember this game, no question. For me, he's Juventus' man of the match. Had 5 great saves, 2 of them were incredible, and that's what keeps them in the game. They had the greatest start, the perfect start, scoring early, and took advantage of it. They had a goalkeeper who gave them another one. So, it kind of looked as though the stars were lined up for another spectacular. But unfortunately, and rightly so, the referee gives a penalty, which was 100% correct.
Let's talk about the penalty. Of course, the moment that really defined this match. Once again, Twitter full of opinion. A lot of people calling this soft, unnecessary, and it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't Real Madrid at the Bernabeu.
I think that's wrong. I think that you look at the situation that they're in. Juventus, you could see Benatia is behind the player. The only real way he can have an effect on that ball is if he goes through the back of him a little bit.
Are you surprised it's that close, 59%?
Yeah, I am. I really am. But I think this is where, as a defender, you have to trust your goalkeeper, who's been excellent all night. You cannot run through the back of a player. I don't care how hard or how little you touch him. In that situation, a referee sees a player standing 4 yards out, 5 yards out, chesting the ball off his chest to try and get it down. There's plenty of time for Buffon to close. Certainly, you would take it any day as a Madrid player to have that opportunity, but you can't. You can't give the ref the reason to call a penalty by going through the back of him. And as Steve rightly said in the clip, you can't actually kick the person then, following through in the chest. It's a penalty. It really is a no-brainer to me.
If this was in Turin, would it be a penalty?
Question is, in Turin against Real Madrid or what? I mean, I think what happens is, people will look at this and say, because it's Real Madrid and the Bernabeu, or if this were a Serie A game, because it's Juventus at home, or it's Manchester United at Old Trafford, people will say that the crowd reaction and it played into the referee's mind and whatnot, and maybe that's often the case. But that doesn't change the fact that, if this hadn't been given, it wouldn't have been a scandal. But the fact that it was given shouldn't be a scandal either, simply because it's Real Madrid at home. Because remember, this is the Champions League. This isn't Real Madrid going and playing Leganés with a Spanish referee. So I don't have that much of a problem with the penalty at all.
You do have a problem with the red card. I've seen you crying about it on Twitter. You're crying about it to us. You were saying that, come on, you've got to give Buffon a chance. I saw someone tweet it's like shooting Bambi, sending him off. Come on.
Well, it kind of is. And look, all right. Here's my thing with this. First of all, people are saying that
he's bumped him twice, Cap.
He's certainly getting in his face and being forceful.
By the way, I can assure you, when you're around a referee like that, there's some sort of expletives or expression coming out your mouth as well. So I mean, he can't have any complaint.
You know what? First of all,
number one, forget expletives. If you bump the referee, you're off.
I've seen Joe Hart headbutt this referee, okay? And this referee not having the stones to send him off. All right, so first of all, let's put that to one side. Not make it about Michael Oliver. Let's talk instead about discretion. And let's talk about how if you do not send him off, it does not make one iota of difference to anything, unless you believe Buffon has supernatural powers, which Chesney does not have. And that's my problem. Ronaldo goes up, he scores a penalty.
I am very much in the discretion mode.
Common sense, I believe, is a word that you use quite a lot.
I don't think you can argue one split second about anybody bumping a referee. It's a complete and utter no-no. As a player, if there's one thing you know you're never going to get away with and should never get away with, it's bumping the ref.
Whose side are you taking here?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you could see every reason why the red card's given. I understand because it might be Buffon's last Champions League game that you take that into consideration. But you're making the right call first. You have the rest of Juventus players in your face already. Add in someone who has the stature Buffon has, knocking into you from the back. As a ref, you've got to imagine you're trying to get control of the situation, right? These are all yelling at me. I've got someone bumping into me in the back. I better do something to take care of it. He turns around, sees it's Buffon. He really doesn't have a decision to make.
Listen, he's a captain. He's got a captain's armband right there.
But the captain doesn't know
No. Hang on one second. This kind of irks me. This idea that, I've been bumped. I better turn around and go. First of all, you got the people surrounding you. Don't talk to them. Turn around and talk to the captain. That's the guy who wants to talk to you. Calm him down. If he says something inappropriate, if he bumps you, if he still bumps you, then you send him off. But to not have the appreciation for the moment, for the absolute heat of the moment where Buffon's trying to get around to shout at you, Michael Oliver's a professional. He's not a dad doing this in his spare time.
Of course not.
The appreciation,
what is right?
Appreciation of what? You've got 6 players and a goalkeeper, and you're saying, well, you've got to speak to the captain. He has no idea because he is getting all kinds of e-rake from left, right, centre, middle and back. He's got a guy who bumps him in the back to start with, and whether he knows it's Buffon or not, as he turns round, he gets bumped again. This is him being professional. As a referee, you cannot allow this sort of behaviour.
This is Michael Oliver we're talking about.
I don't care who it is. A referee cannot stand in a melee with players and get bumped and let them away with it.
If you want to send them off, go ahead.
You're making out as if he never did anything.
All I'm saying is this was a moment, this was a context. You have discretion in this situation. We will never see Michael Oliver in a high-level game ever again.
Okay,
and there's a reason why.
Let's move on from the Buffon red card because he's off. That's it. I want to talk about Real Madrid a little bit, and I want to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, who was ultimately the difference, wasn't he, between these two teams over the 2 legs?
Yeah. I mean, the penalty kick. When you're taking a penalty kick, the percentages are you go low, because it's easier to keep control of the ball. When you start thinking going high, the chances of it going astray just go through the roof. And the fact that it's the last kick of the game, has he ever taken a bigger or more important penalty? I don't think so. And he annihilates it into the top corner. I'll tell you what, it takes a special talent and it takes a special gut to stand up. And the thing is, there's not 1 second of this whole... We're talking about he had to wait. Oh, it must have been really bad. It must be...
It was 4.5 minutes, wasn't he? Had to
the
wait.
only thing he's thinking about is, I can't wait. Because
Because
tomorrow,
that is it.
my name's going to be all over because he doesn't think about missing.
Yeah, right. Now, at the other end, it surely isn't a coincidence, Stevie Nicol.
Oh, don't tell me,
That
Ramos.
Sergio Ramos isn't on the pitch for the second leg and Real Madrid look vulnerable at the back.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
How good have Real Madrid been this season defensively?
They've been poor.
Correct.
In the league, but in the Champions League, in these knockout stages, they've been fantastic.
Oh, so you can separate them now?
What? It's
so
like
we
the
can
whole
do,
team.
no, so it doesn't count. It only counts in the Champions League.
So
forget La Liga.
Who played in the Champions
I'll tell
League
you what,
finals at the
hold
back
on a
that Real
second.
Madrid won?
Here we
that no
go.
one
Let me
gave
go
a chance.
Let me go start off for you. They've lost more than a goal a game, and every single time they've stood on the field. They've lost 55 goals in 52 games, and Ramos has played in 99.9999% of the games.
But we've seen, Stevie, the Champions League is a different animal for Real Madrid, isn't it?
But you're making
they
it
up their game. You start throwing stats
Okay.
out, you go, well,
Okay.
Real Madrid have won 3 Champions League out of the last 4.
They upped the game,
with Sergio
yes.
Ramos
I'm not
at the back.
disagreeing with that.
World Cups with Sergio Ramos at the back. European Cups with Ramos at the back. You can't just completely dismiss
Listen,
it.
So I'm just telling you that all season long, they've lost more than a goal a game on average, and he's played the majority of the season. So don't tell me it's a surprise. Are we actually surprised that Real Madrid lost goals today?
Yes,
no one
of
knows.
course we are. No one expected
Well,
Juve to score 3, did they?
Are we surprised, though, that they lost goals and made mistakes?
Yes.
How are you? They've been making mistakes all season
But they were
and
so
losing goals all
dominant. They were
season.
so
And
dominant,
Ramos has been
Sherry.
playing all season.
Listen, look.
Don't give me this nonsense. Regardless of what I throw at you, you're going to go, "Oh, Ramos, no."
I don't think I know you love Ramos, but I don't think he has magical powers to stop Keylor Navas from spilling the ball on the third goal. I don't think his magical powers to go and make Danny Carvajal not get so tight for the first goal so that Mandzukic stays open. I mean, it's not like he was going to go and play right back in Carvajal's place to defend Mandzukic. Come on now.
Surely his mere presence, though, Gab, is enough.
It's
That's all that
aura.
matters.
Of course his presence helps.
It's not like my Varane went bad. I
You
mean,
don't even let me agree with you. Of course, his presence matters, but don't mix the presence up with actually how they're performing.